I will.
Okay.
I don't know what
You
to
need to
say.
be the new weatherman.
I said the stuff is
Anything you want and whatever happened, happened.
You have to leave early today, right, Ann?
What's that?
Do you have to leave early today?
Nope.
Oh, good.
It's chilly in here.
I know,
Yes,
I always
it-
turn the
like
heaters on
cold.
when I come and then turn them off when I leave.
I
Nice.
just told Jessica to talk fast.
Yeah.
Good plan. I did turn that on, by the way.
There's so much on the agenda today, I just forgot about those.
Right? Yeah, it's just jam-packed.
Here are the 2 copies for signatures.
Perfect.
So there's PPL, not PPL, Northwestern Indian being owned by another entity. Instead of listing all
I
30.
kinda had a.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good morning. Good morning.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, open the meeting with public comment. Is there any public comment?
I'm Shirley Wilson. I want to read the letter out of the paper last week about the commissioner table. Dear Commissioners, as a former commissioner, let me provide some history on your commissioner table. We had the table built some years ago. The local craftsman was Monty Armstrong. The original had taller seats for the commission and lower seats for the public. After limited use, we received feedback from the taxpayers that they felt they were being looked down upon by the public we served. We had the table modified as you see it today. Thank you for your service, Steve McCullough. And I think just as a footnote, I would like to reiterate what Tom Williams said last week. You work for the public, you work for us, the citizens of Broadwater County. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Move on to our 10 o'clock. County Weed Coordinator Jessica Bushnell. Approve County Noxious Weed Management Plan. Approve Subdivision Noxious Weed Management and Revegetation Plan. Approve bylaws of Broadwater County Weed District. Approve Weed Board Secretary.
So last week I sent you, or 2 weeks ago, sent you all the stuff that the weed board has been working hard on. So we overhauled our management plan pretty heavily. And so we're ready to submit it to you guys for final approval. Holiday, the babysitters.
Quite all right. This is their house too. I can attest to the fact that the weed board has put in countless hours and has brought a tremendous amount of expertise to the weed management plan. And if you guys are ready, I'd be happy to make a motion to adopt that as presented.
Yeah, I agree. Nice job, John, and your board.
Right, I move that we adopt the county weed plan as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded to adopt the county weed plan as all presented. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I maybe missed your comment period. Just a real quick question. I know most people don't have a chance to go to these board meetings. They don't hear about them too much till we get to this stage of the process where decisions are made. I guess my concern is as we move forward, you know, I talked to several people, if they've seen the plan or have been involved in it as landowners, and a lot of people have not been engaged because they're just, you know, they're busy living their lives or whatever. So my question is has this plan been out for public comment as a major decision in the county? Or has this kind of been an internal working as you move forward through the advisory board coming to this decision? That's just a question for, as we move forward, if that's the way the system has worked, is part of the transparency that I think we can improve on. Thank you.
Can you address that, too?
Yeah, so my weed board is made up of county residents who, submit letters requesting that they are part of the board and that they are interested in the land health of the county. And so this plan was drafted by those members, when they have the interest of the county. I mean, it's a really well done document, and it needed to be changed and updated for current plans. The state of Montana requires that we do it every 2 years. So it's always a going on process. So we're always reviewing it, always looking forward.
Thank you, and I get it, just for clarification, to make sure that the people know that this has been ongoing and it will continue to be a process in Broadwater County. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And if I may, Mr. Chairman, John and Jessica, are these public meetings? Are they
Yes.
advertised?
All meetings are public, agendas are posted, advertised, and it's, to my knowledge, I don't have any knowledge that state statute requests or requires a public comment on this. It's I mean, that's the purpose of the board, is to get your diversification through your county, through your board members, to outlook for the best plan we can make up. And so, like I say, and where it's 2 years, it's gonna be revised in 2 years, mainly to keep on top of weed classifications more than anything, and then the growth of the county. I don't know of anything that requires a,
Comment.
comment period.
Thank you very much.
So could we get a list of like people that are on the board? So
It is
public can,
on our website, isn't it?
I believe it is.
But yes, we can, but it is also, I believe, on the website.
There's gonna be an opening, Dan.
what's that?
There's gonna be an opening if you're interested. I'm being on the weed board.
Oh, they don't want me on the weed board.
Oh, why not?
Because all the neighbors and the railroad and the county and the state would hate me.
Mr. Chair, one follow-up question.
Yes.
Is there any new invasive species that, I kind of briefly looked at the plan today, that's really a very big heartburn for Broadwater County private property owners to be concerned about? And like Dan said, you know, your Forest Service, BLM, Fish, Wildlife, and Parks are doing very little on the weed management plan, and we have a problem here.
So the one we haven't located in the county that I suspect is in the county is ventonata. It's an annual invasive grass that is worse than cheatgrass. But we have no confirmed infestations in Broadwater County, but there are infestations in Gallatin and infestations in Lewis and Clark. So we are actively looking for that.
Okay? Thank you.
And you guys have been working on this thing since like February of last year, have you
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I give credit to those that are at the table, but a lot of people in the county are not at the table. Thank you.
So Mike, do you want me to make a motion on this one? So
Yes.
this is the subdivision Noxus
Oh,
weed
yes,
management
yes.
and revegetation plan. And I move that we adopt this plan as presented and sign it.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the subdivision noxious weed management and revegetation plan. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
I appreciate that you guys aren't letting any moss grow into your feet.
One more question, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
on that particular, if I'm out of order, Jane, correct me, I'm sorry, but on the subdivision regulation changes that we have been looking at with planning and everything else, this is part of it. And one of the questions, I guess, that keeps coming up with our county surveyor, as well as several realtors in the county, is the added cost that goes to the rights of private property use. And so, is this new subdivision plan really I haven't had a chance to personally look at it. So does that bring forward new and expanded charges to landowners in the subdivision process for the weed management that's beyond what is already there?
Yeah, there is a little bit of updating for if the subdivider has me write their plan. This plan is designed to be done by the developer. And so if they ask me to do it, there is a charge for my time. We really want them to work through this document so that they understand the impact development has on the land and take that into account when they're doing projects. This plan is also well in line with what other counties in the state are doing that are also experiencing this level of expansion. And it's important for us as a county to be ahead as much as we can for development so that we're not getting new infestations of noxious weeds.
Once again, Mr. Chair, thank you folks.
will there be, when you guys went through the subdivision plan, is there won't, is this pretty much address everything as far as the change, and if we do changes in subdivision plans,
Yes.
is everything
Yeah,
pretty
so
well
this-
addressed in here?
Yeah, it should be really well, yeah, it's well done on our end.
Okay.
It was drafted actually by the county attorney in Beaverhead County with their coordinator. And so they sent it out to all of us coordinators to use, and then we adapted it for our needs.
Thank you.
I like the fact that you just addressed cheatgrass.
Yeah.
That's, you know,
Yeah,
probably a losing battle, but at least we've addressed it, so.
and yeah, and if we do it on our end, that gives that landowner that opportunity to do something.
Yeah.
Same thing with the county management plan, you'll find weeds in there that aren't on the state list and aren't a big problem, but if you don't list them, then you can't complain about them.
That's right,
That's
yeah.
the main reason to stay on top of it.
Do we have noxious weeds that nobody else has yet? We don't have anything
We don't have anything
specific
unique
to us?
to
Yeah.
us.
We're not that special, we just have to share.
No.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So I've got a question though, it's okay.
Yes.
For just us small people that don't have farms and ranches and get the good stuff that'll actually work, what can we do?
So, I mean,
Besides spend big money and hire somebody?
so I don't know how much land you have, but we, as the county, have rental equipment. And then, the county does not sell herbicide, but you are more than able to go to like Rocky Mountain Supply or any of those places and get what you need. The only product that you can't purchase for yourself would be a restricted use like Tordon.
That works.
But that only works on limited products. There's a lot of other stuff out there that has kind of,
You can get licensed just as easy as I can get licensed.
so.
Okay.
There's no restriction on acreage on what products you use or anything. You can go get licensed to use them and be responsible for it, just like anybody else, even a commercial person.
Right on.
Got one last final question on the weed program here, if I could, sir. In the past, we have contracted out the county obligation for spraying weeds. That was terminated several years. It went to the internal operation with employees. Is that going to maintain an internal program within the county, or is that going to go back out for possible bidding? Because there's a lot of money involved in spraying weeds.
So right now, we operate on kind of both fronts. So we have a commercial applicator in contracts for the state highways. And then internally, we operate a crew for our county roads and other county lands. So it's kind of a both front. And then the roadside contracts do go out for bid.
Okay. One follow-up.
Yes.
Just real quick, if, for example, and then just using the worst case scenario, if you will, if a particular landowner files a complaint with the county against an adjacent landowner for their failure to manage their weeds, is there new provisions in the plan and the county's program here to address that efficiently as well as fairly recognizing due process?
So that is the one part we didn't tackle. Non-compliance is a really, that's what they call the issue when your neighbor doesn't control their weeds. It's a non-compliance issue. And there's a lot of legal involved with non-compliance, and so we decided to approach that in its own working meeting, get Corey involved and do that way, because we don't want to violate any of the laws involved with non-compliance. Because it's authority issue. It's hard.
So one more follow-up. Is there a time frame on coming up with a plan here in the county for
Not
addressing
quite.
that? Timeframe?
We had talked about working on it this coming plan cycle.
Okay.
So sometime between now and the revision again in 2 years is what the
Yeah.
weed board's goal is to tackle that. Short answer, yes, there's a plan in place and there's a process for non-compliance. Long answer is it's very complicated once you
Yes.
start it.
Knowing that, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question? What's the current protocol for spraying road ditches of county roads?
I guess, what do you mean, like,
Does the county do it?
Yes.
Does the county not do it?
yes.
Is there any way of knowing that it was done or not done? How often do they do it?
So, what we do is a spot spray treatment. So if you're driving down the road, you're not going to see a whole ton of burn down. So if you're looking at a plant like sweet clover, you're not gonna see all of those tipped over. However, we are out there spraying each spot, you know, each weed by spot, rather than a broadcast spray. This particular season last year was very, very wet. We had a lot of standing water in a lot of our ditches, and so some of those didn't get hit until later in the season. But we got to about 95% of our roads. And then we were talked about, when our website is up, posting on what roads have been treated and what roads haven't been, and kind of where we're hoping to be in the next couple of weeks.
Try to hit everything once in the spring, as allowed, with follow-up in the fall. So our goal is to hit everything, all county roads once.
And eventually, if it doesn't get done, the grader just pushes them in the ditch, which has happened in the past.
Coordination is something that's on
Yeah.
top of mind as well.
There are roads out there that haven't been hit for a while, so just FYI.
And we're more than happy to work with people. I mean, the board is 5 guys, we can't see everything, but, so if you have a problem, feel free to call and let
Yes.
us know.
Okay, thank you.
So next is the approval of the bylaws of the Broadwater County Weed District. Do we have?
You can have my copy. We've looked at these a couple of times, so I would move that we adopt the bylaws as they have been approved and signed. Did your board sign? Or just approve them?
I think we just approved it, I don't think we
Okay.
had a signature.
Okay, so as approved by the board of the Weed District Board.
Is there a second?
I have some questions first before we go proceed. So on section 4, on the secretary, what have you guys decided to do there?
Once you approve those, I got a letter to submit to you, and they ask for approval to hire a secretary.
Okay. Well, it says you may elect a secretary. Should it say that you shall?
No, that's where we changed. Shall means we had to elect out of our own board. We chose to have may, to where if we had somebody that was better suited to do that in the future, or currently even, then we could elect one on our board. If not, that's what we're choosing to do. I'm not asking to hire one, but that's why we left it as may
Okay.
rather than shall.
Is there a second to approve the bylaws?
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
Motion been made and seconded to approve bylaws of the Broadwater County Weed District as adopted by the Broadwater County Weed Boards. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Okay, approve of weed board secretary.
So, you guys all know who I am, it's John Ferret, current weed board chairman. The board would just like to request approval to hire a secretary. It shouldn't be a big position for us, several hours a month at most, just to help with us compile our minutes so we can focus on what we're doing while we're doing it, rather than having to take breaks all the time to make sure our notes are up to date and everything. And then let Jessica give her report and not have to worry about keeping us straight and anything too. So we feel that a secretary would keep our board running more smoothly. We've had one in the past, and I don't know, for whatever reason, they've changed positions or done different things, and we never got one back again through all the change of coordinators. So in the past, it seemed to work and help us out immensely.
Do you have an idea, John, how much that'll cost a year, just roughly?
What did we set for?
So we said, we're thinking about 4 hours a month and then between 12 and 14 an hour.
Yeah, I guess I missed that meeting, but whatever they used to come up with that going rate, but that's kind of what we're thinking, is that around $12 an hour. And, you know, if we were busy with grants or doing something else, might have some extra hours there, but we're looking, I don't see why we can't do it for 2 hours a month, but say 4 to be safe, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I mean, we spend an hour, hour and a half at a meeting, and then they should spend about that much time revising and getting the minutes out. And with hopes that we can do a lot of that through email and then speed up our meetings as well without having to reread them at the minutes, our meetings.
There have been some people who've expressed interest. We also have some staff who are currently under 40 hours a week but receiving the full health insurance benefit. So it actually would be an overall savings to the county to let those folks have the few extra hours and come up to 40.
And at our last meeting, we did come up with a job description that if you grant, we're ready to submit to HR and advertise it.
So is this person only gonna do minutes then, and then would Jessica still handle the agenda, or is this person gonna get the agenda from Jessica and then send it out, or?
I think our current system, which is in the bylaws of our, between the chairman and Jessica working to get our agenda set up, only thing I could see the secretary doing might be printing an extra copy and making sure it's there on the table when we get to our meetings, but other than that, I think Jessica and I, or whoever the chairman will be, will keep working that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be another email contact to get stuff printed and submitted, but other than that, I don't see them drafting our agenda. We didn't
Yeah.
have anything in the job description for agendas.
Kind of left it broad and vague.
Yeah.
Other duties as assigned.
Yeah.
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 I guess the main purpose is it's a secretary for the board, not for the weed district. So we've got a little leeway there on how much help we want to have them do for Jessica if we need to, if we get in a pinch on grants or something like that, but mainly it's for the board's use.
They are looking at between $12 and $14 an hour, which I think is more than affordable for the work that this board needs and to complement the work that they do.
So if we have president and staff do that, do they have to get paid at the same rate they're getting paid right now? That we would continue that for uniformity?
I don't believe so, but that'd be an HR question. I believe that if we actually open this up and took anybody who's interested, and we had staff that was interested, that they could do this along with their job at this rate. But
Okay.
again, we want to double check with HR to make sure we do everything right.
And that would be the board's intention as well, is to hopefully drop down or whatever to stay at our rate rather than whatever their current rate is if we did an in-house person.
Based on precedent, there are other boards who have secretaries. I respect you guys for trying to keep the price low, I move that we grant approval to the weed board for a secretary to the board.
Is there a second?
John, so will you or Jessica be kind of the manager of this person? Have you guys talked about that?
We did, we talked about it in the meeting, is that, I would be the direct supervisor, because
Okay.
it would be a county employee.
Yeah.
And then they report to me, to Mary, to you, and then board is advisory to their position.
I guess
That's
advisory,
mighty
so
good
that's
to
what
hear.
it's at, yeah.
All right, thank you. I will second that motion.
Motion been made and second to approve the weed board secretary. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
Thank you,
I'll just
John.
add a side, I mean, the board also approved, we're gonna try and have at least 2 board members and Jessica when we go, get applications back, once it's submitted, so. Left that open-ended, I guess we're gonna try to advertise for a week at least, and then whenever that happens, whatever the schedule we get with HR, then we'll try and get with them and go through the applications and see who fits, so.
All right,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Nicely done.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Another one that doesn't let moss grow under his feet.
Do we have anything else other than mail?
Minutes? Minutes?
Oh, minutes. Have minutes here from December 23rd, 2019.
Move to approve those minutes as submitted.
I'll second.
There's one line here, and I didn't notice it, but the Commissioner Obert moved to sign a right of first refusal document. Should we have that state that that's for the Opportunity Bank building, or?
Yeah, probably wouldn't hurt to add it.
So do we, if we just have the motion to add that to the minutes and then approve them? Approve minutes with corrections?
Yeah, I accept the friendly amendment.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Yeah, we've approved claims in the amount of $81,770.80.
Move we approve the claims for $81,778.
Second the motion at $81,770.80, correct?
Yes.
80
Okay.
cents.
80.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Payroll claims in the amount of $180,368.34.
I move we pay payroll in the amount of $180,368.34.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion been made and second to pay claims, said amount, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Let's see, I have a Christmas card here from Morrison Merrill Lee. Vigilante Electric Cooperative, District 3 membership meeting of the Vigilante Electric Cooperative Incorporated is scheduled to be held as follows. District 3, Townsend, Toston area, Toston Fire Hall, January 6, 2020, 7 p.m. rule changes for the Montana Water Quality Review. Stakeholders question and answer session, January 8th, 2020, 9 p.m. Metcalf Building in Helena. Letter from the Helena, Lewis and Clark National Forest. Sign a decision for the Stonewall Vegetation Project after analyzing the 217 Park Creek fire. Letter from DEQ. Water quality permit for Western Energy Company, Castle Rock Road, Colstrip, Montana, Rosebud Mine area. Card from Polaris Ranger, new equipment. This is the petition for appointments for the Wheatland Water Sewer District. Petition for appointment, petition to create, and an exhibit. So do we need to forward these, or?
We have an email from Jason Billiou from Jackson, Murdo, and Grant, a law firm. They are said to be the experts on creating water sewer districts. And what they said is, what we need to do is accept the appointments and execute the two petitions. So what we need to do is ask Doug's office to verify the petitions, and then we need to have a resolution to create this district and appoint them as board of directors. They have given us a resolution. It is on the agenda for next week,
Okay.
if we are good to move forward. But the first step is to formally ask Doug in his office to verify the
To
signatures.
approve these, okay.
Yep. I don't think we need a motion for that, we just need to make it through the public process. So if you guys are both good with that, we can,
Yes.
okay, I am too.
So that's everything on the agenda and all the mail. Is there anything else to come before the commission today?
I do have a couple of things. So when you guys went to the training, I saw, when I was there, the New Year's resolutions. On the desk, we get those every single year, it's in the newsletter. So we have everything that we update and go through, and I made copies. I can also email those to you guys. You do have them from last year. So everything is pretty much just updating, but there is the one where we establish hours of operation for Broadwater County offices. Do you guys want, does one of you want to do that? Do you want me to just send out the standard email from the commissioner's email? What is your pleasure? I'm happy either way. And here's a couple of copies of that. Didn't make copies of everything, but these are all the things that we need to update. And I think there was nothing of substance that really needs to be changed. If you see anything, now's the time to
What will we,
let us know.
how are we going to address if we move across the street?
I think we just put it in there, so the resolution showing where we will be, I think we just say the meetings will either be here, and include this address, or will be at 416 Broadway in the county annex.
Okay.
And in first draft, I called it the Commissioners' Chambers. We can change it to whatever you guys want.
Okay.
So yeah, I thought if we just, and then for the meeting agenda and open meeting policy, that one says unless otherwise advertised, so that covers it.
That's really the only change we're gonna make here, other than
That's all I saw in my first blush.
meeting location would be the only change.
Yeah. Per diem, that one's really short, but we do follow the state's per diem rate. We don't say anything, and I was wondering if we need to, if somebody wants to exceed the per diem rate to stay somewhere, I wonder if we should have them pay the difference, if there's an option. If there's not, just have them come talk to us, and we approve it or not, and let them make the decision from there. I don't know if you guys want that in the resolution, but if we set a per diem rate and somebody wants to exceed that, I'm not sure the county should pay for that.
We don't have that in here for that, to,
No, the per diem just says that it's implied. Board of County Commissioners wishes to adopt a resolution establishing mileage, lodging, and per diem rates for business travel in accordance with section 218-501, and 218-502. What we do is we follow the state. Now therefore being resolved, the commission will adhere to mileage, lodging, and per diem rates as set by the state of Montana for state employees. So I don't know if you guys want, I'd be happy to put something together and email it to you. If you guys have any thoughts, put it together and email it to the rest of us.
I would think it'd be best to have it in there, that if they're gonna exceed that base rate, then they should pay the difference.
It would certainly be most clear for everybody,
And that's how it works in the real world.
right? And it should.
May I ask a question? Are you going to move your offices over there also, or just the meeting room?
I think we just moved, the extensions, pretty much extension of the ambulance are moving over there, just the meeting room will be moved over there.
So what happens when one of you forgets item B in the office? We all get to sit around for 5 minutes while you run across the street, get your item and come back?
Probably.
Okay, just asking.
We're, you know, at the minimum, we're 6 months away from, changing our streaming meetings and stuff. Do we need to, address that in here, or can we address that at a later date, at the time that we implement the policy?
Yeah, I think when we are able to do that, we'll know what some of the different policy changes need to be. And then I would suggest we just have a streaming meeting policy. And it can be an amendment or it can be a standalone.
Okay.
And then we'll get these posted tomorrow because Wednesday's a holiday.
Right.
If you could give me the electronic copies, Laura, I'd appreciate it.
Sure,
And
sure,
if I need to make some changes, I'd like to do that better.
sure.
Thank you.
And then the only other thing I have is a CDBG grant request for funds. And I wanted you to both to see it. If you have any issues with what I'm put together, let me know. That is due tomorrow. Hopefully I'm sending it out this afternoon. So if you have any issues, let me know.
Yes, Tim?
Just a quick point of clarification, Mr. Chair. Tim Ravendall, citizen, following meeting, trying to keep up. Normally, in the past, we've had a change in some parts of the policy of the commission on the first of the year, the calendar year. But you just mentioned that you're talking about a 6-month window before a policy change adoption would occur. So are we talking meeting policies versus internal administrative? Just a clarification on where we're at on that. Will there be a policy change here coming in January as normal, which happens each year?
Coming in, kid.
No, I don't, I think the only thing that's gonna change in the near future is gonna be the location of where we have the meetings, and we'll address that in here. The other thing is the live streaming of minutes and meetings, or of meetings, both the commissioner meetings and board meetings, whatever we have over in the new building, we'll have that capability. And then that would also, I think we have to do a resolution or something that says that that's the actual minutes of the meeting. Some things will get changed there as we go through that process. But like I said, it takes 6 months before they even get things set up.
Okay,
do the
again,
website.
there's just been some changes in the beginning of each calendar year with the makeup of how things are run. Policy is part of that, along with the form of government that's
I
been
think
in
everything
place.
will pretty much stay the same until we get that system up to the point where it can actually run.
Okay, so sometimes it's hard to keep up with apples and oranges and keep them separate. Thank you.
I would be okay with this.
Yeah, looks good.
Good, thank you.
Anything else we got from the commission?
Nope.
If not, we will adjourn at 10:45.
Thanks. Have a happy new year, everybody.
You too.
Back to you. Real quick question, the CBDG grant, is that changed any as far as the figure that was